Let me start sharing. Oh, you're going to share first.
I'll just share first. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to the Wake Up Workday Morning Show. I am your host, Tony Gilfillan, and as usual, we have the wonderful Todd Tarpley. Welcome, Todd.
Hey, Tony. Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to do something pretty cool. Todd's going to drive and walk us through how to manage mass operations in Workday. So something that's very important, and I think Todd's going to share some pretty cool stuff. So take it away, Todd.
All right. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Can you see? Yep, you can see it, right, Tony?
We can see it.
Okay, so we're going to go through mass cancel today, one of the mass operation managements, and we're going to do it in the context of extend objects. So I don't know if you've ever had these use cases, but I certainly have. One is a developer going into GMS, and just as I develop and iterate, I end up creating a mess of business process transactions. And it's hard for me or my testers really to know what are the transactions we're trying to test and look at here, because I've just built up so much stuff over the weeks or the months building the app. So that's one use case. Another use case is in production, right? I mean, you've got tasks out there, maybe people terminate and the tasks sit out there because they are still in process, but they're pending somebody. Really, they should be reassigned and worked through, but there's some tasks that you just want to cancel. Maybe it's a goal setting operation as part of your talent process, and people just didn't do their goals, and you want to cancel a subset of them or some of them that are just lingering after 2 or 3 years. So those are the great use cases for mass operation management and the cancel function. So we're going to go in here, and I've set up some data. I'm going to proxy as one of our managers in GMS, Peter, and we're going to be looking at the sales commission app. And we're going to see that Peter has a lot of the same task out. So this could be that use case of me just doing too much development, or maybe I messed up and in production I ran an integration twice or 3 times. But as you can see, we got 5 tasks out here that are identical. They're all the same thing. So I want to clean this up. How do I do that? And I don't want to go through and manually cancel all of these things.
Do you want to
So
give
that's what
a
mass.
quick elevator pitch on the Sales Commission app? Because that's actually pretty new to our app catalog.
Sure. So Sales Commission app is one we released at the early February timeframe. And it is a really cool app that shows just kind of a simplistic version of a sales commission process, but the sales commission process being you get a bunch of data in your sales platform, whatever that is, and you need to calculate your sales commission, your sales workers' commissions, your monthly commissions. So it will consume this process, this app will use Prism, Extend, and Orchestrate. So it shows the whole Workday platform working together. And what that will do is it will consume a whole bunch of transactions, and then it will take us through a Prism pipeline to take all those sales transactions and compute a payout. Then we launch an orchestration to move all that data into Extend and to launch a business process on it. And I'm going to actually take it back to the approval page and show you that. So then we
This is definitely one of our
launch.
meatier app catalog apps.
Yeah, it's meaty. There's a lot there. It's a good one to look at. Then you launch those orchestrations, and they put these inbox tasks in people's uh, inbox. These tasks in people's inbox is what I meant to say there. And the manager can see what the commission calculation is going to be, and they have the ability to adjust it if something's wrong with it. You know, they're correcting errors, maybe something was miscalculated. We also have some currency stuff. So this person here gets paid in US dollars, but this one here does not. You get some other ones here, Indian rupees, Australian dollars. So it does exchange rate. So 1,600 US dollars is actually 1,824 Australian dollars, and they could make some adjustments to it. When you approve at the end of this thing, it will actually create the payroll input for your worker to be paid. So when I click approve, payroll inputs get created. Next payroll that processes with the right time frame on it, right? The payroll input will be processed and paid. So cool little app that will take you through a relatively simple commission calculation. And we built a simple one because hey, we're trying to demonstrate something, right? But Prism's very robust. So you can go scale that up from a pretty simple calculation to a pretty complicated calculation pretty easily within Prism. The capabilities are all there for you. Okay. Now let's get back to the mass operation management side of this. And I have all these tasks out there that I want to cancel because I was either doing a lot of development or I launched some integrations in air. So, I'm just going to go out here and not read the documentation. I'm just going to go see what I need to do. So I type in mass operation management. Okay, this looks pretty straightforward. What do I need to do here? So I want to cancel business processes. I need an input report. Ooh, okay, we got something going on here. So we need to create a report here. This is the first thing that we're going to have to do. So how do we create that report? This is where we got to go to the documentation, kind of read up on it a little bit. But so here, mass operation management, I'm going to give you here's documentation for you. I'll get it posted with this session. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through it and just show you how it works. So I'm going to go into my app, and it's TJT Sales Commission Test Build 2. So we've built a lot of these things in this tenant, but this is the latest and greatest. So I'm going to work off this app. So first thing we want to do is go down to our business process. And let's make sure that we have security turned on and this business process is cancelable. So that's key. Business process needs to be cancelable and we have to have security to it. So cancel implementers. I'm an implementer here, cancel web service implementers. So it looks like we're good to go there. Next thing we have to do, like I told you, we have to create a report to identify which transactions we want to cancel. Multiple different ways you can do it. The way I like to do it is I like to go into my app and take a look at my event business processes. These are my business objects. These are my business objects that tie to my business process. So I want to use sales commission review events as my data source for my report that I'm going to build. So let's go create that report. Okay, wake up with Workday, mass cancel, sales commission. We'll call this report. We'll make it advanced just because I like always doing advanced. I don't know, just kind of automatically go there when I do this stuff. Sales commission event. I see I got 5 of them, 6 of them, whatever's out here. And again, I'm telling you that's out there because we've deployed this app many times with different names on it. So drill into the related actions and I see it's TJT test build 2. So this is the one that I want. So we're going to go against this. I'm going to take off optimize, just kind of want to make sure I have access to all my fields. Okay, in your report, there's 2 things that are absolutely required. One is you have to say the action event. This is what tells mass operation management the WID that we're trying to cancel. So this is why it's needed. That's the WID we're going to get rid of, or we're going to cancel, not get rid of, we're going to cancel it. And the other thing that is required is we have to say if the transaction is cancelable or not. So cancelable, it's a Boolean. We're going to say yes. And we're going to say that it is not blank, which means true, right? Cancelable is true. And I'm going to add some more stuff here just so we can kind of get a flavor of this. We're going to do created moment. And we'll, oops. And let's take a look at awaiting persons. I think that's on the action event though. I think I have to bring this back a level, related business object here. Okay. So let's run this. That warning was telling me I'm not using an index, so it might be slow performing, but we can see that, okay, we got 60 transactions out here. Let me add another field. Let me add status. all in progress here. And the reason why it's all in progress, because that cancelable filter that we put on that thing, it's going to restrict us to only transactions that are currently cancelable. If it's a success, it's not cancelable because it's completed. It's got to be things that are in progress. So here is our report that we're going to do. We see we have 59 items out there, and I'm going to do some filtering here. I see that I created these 10 today and then a lot yesterday. But actually, you know what? Let's just cancel the ones from yesterday. So I'm going to put another filter into this. And let's say created moment is less than or less than today. So I had 59 and I should have less than 59 after doing this. I'm at 49, so perfect. Okay, I think I have my report created now. Now let's go here and let's try our mass operation management one more time. So we'll say cancel, and we'll wake up with Workday, mass cancel sales commissions, and we're going to do a run now on this one. Okay. Once a request name, this is just so that way when you look at your history of mass operation management, you can see your request name. I don't think it does anything more than that.
So what are all the options in the mass operation type?
Let's take a look at those. So a lot of these are not applicable to Extend, but let's take a look at these options. You see, so this is the way security is also currently configured. So at the end of this, I'm going to kind of show you another one on how to add it in here, but we can advance business process, cancel feedback. So some of them are very specific, like distribute journeys, right? That's not a generic one. That's very isolated and specific. But these are the ones. And one thing we can see that's not here is rescind. So after we take you through the cancel, we're going to look back and we're going to show you how to turn on rescind here. But this is kind of based off security. And if you go to the mass operation management documentation, it will tell you the things that are available in here.
You're reading my mind because I was just going to ask you, how do you rescind in mass?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that use case at the end because that's a little bit nuanced there. So these are the ones, but you also have to match this up with what is available in Extend. So Workday delivered versus Workday Extend. Is this the right one for business processes? So yeah, for business processes. So if you look at here, supported action types, manually advance. So you can't mass advance an Extend business project because manually advance is not supported. So that's just not going to work for you right out of the gate. So it has to be mass operation management is for delivered functionality, and we're kind of extending it into Extend. So you have to look at where there may be a gap there, but we are doing mass cancel, and that is a supported action type. So we're going to be able to do that here. Okay. So we're jumping back to our mass operation management, and we're going to cancel a business process. We're going to use our wake up with the Workday cancel, and we're going to run it now. Okay, the request name, I did this a minute ago. Wake up with Workday. And then notifications. Do you want notifications to go out that you canceled the business process? To me, that always sounds scary. I don't want the world to know I canceled a bunch of business processes in like like if they're old business processes, I don't think I want to generate all that noise in the organization. But you got to think about that. What is your use case, and is it a legitimate that you want it going out? So I'm just going to put a fake little reason in here. And then you could also schedule this mass operation to occur in the future. Let's say you have a process that's ending, like a get feedback process, and you want to just cancel anything that's still out there pending at the end. You can set this up, and it can force a review before it processes. I've never used this, so I would just say test this and make sure it works as you expect it to. Um, so suppress notifications. We're going to do the run now. And if we had any report parameters, they would be populated here and we'd have to choose them. So we're going to say, okay, what do we get an error on? Oh, here we got you here. The input report is missing a required filter. The filter cancelable needs to equal yes. So we have something wrong there. I did that wrong. So let's go back to our report. Let's take our filter. So cancelable is not blank. Well, we know that means yes. You need to set it the way it expects it to be. So let's come in here and let's say that it's equal to yes. Cancelable is equal to yes. So little gotcha there. It's got me before. Okay, we're still at our 49, so that's looking correct to me. So now let's go ahead and we may
Interesting
have,
that it says yes, not true.
mhm,
My developer
mhm.
brain's like, yes is not true.
So let's start this one over. Cancel. Going to set everything up just like we did before. These are required, so you have to put something in here, even though we're doing it immediately. And we're going to say yes. No hard error here. Now you get to another little bit of a gotcha here. Now it's running. I've sat here and I clicked this thing forever. See, it's at 90%, but it actually shows us that we're ready to go. So what it's telling you here is it's waiting on your action here. So there's 49 instances, but let's take a look at it because it won't just immediately get rid of them. It wants you to review these things. It wants you to confirm that this is exactly what you want to mass cancel. So we'll click the review mass operation request. If we had more fields, actually, it just shows you the instance that's going to delete. So you could pop them open, take a look, and you see your transactions that are going to be removed. So you could, put the WID out, get a report, get the WID, kind of capture that information that you're deleting before or canceling before you do it for good record keeping. We say continue these all need. Okay. So we're kind of confirming that they are ready to go. Okay. Complete it. Oh, see, it's 1 minute, 19 seconds. It goes back to that initial request that I did about 1 minute, 19 seconds ago. Okay, so we're complete. So let's go take a look at what Peter has in his inbox now. So since we canceled everything that was created yesterday and not what was created today, I expect Peter to still have one instance out there. Looking good so far. Okay. So this is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and complete this because then it'll take us into our master sin topic. So let's approve this. Okay, now the next step is doing that pass over to create the payroll inputs we talked about a little bit before. And Peter doesn't have anything in his inbox. All right, so let's go back to our mass cancel. And let's just make a change to this one. Let's get rid of this cancelable. Let's get rid of this created moment. And let's just see what our data looks like now. All right, let's see. Successfully completed. We got a couple of rescinds. And we got only a couple in processes. This is kind of exactly what we expected to be after, based off what we started with. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so that's how you mass cancel. And like I said, I think this is a great example for some process in production that people just don't work. And then if they don't work, you kind of just want to get rid of them, just let them disappear. Or for me, saves me a lot of time in development just to purge my environment and kind of give my testers a clean slate. So those are my two use cases that I use this thing for commonly. Now, let's switch over and let's talk about mass rescind. So mass rescind for delivered objects will actually perform your rescind and remove the calculations, or remove the transactions. So like if it's a termination event and it's successfully completed and you rescind it, it will actually roll that transaction back. In the extend world, there's nothing within Workday to revert your data back to what it was before that transaction completed, right? Some orchestrations may have fired, some things may have gone out to different places. So just rescinding the transaction does not change your data that may or may not have been impacted. Like I said on this one here, we have payroll inputs that got created. We could probably go take a look at one of those. If we rescind this, it's not going to remove those payroll inputs. So that's the part you got to make sure you have accounted for, is if you rescind this, you also need to go back and make those corrections. So that's the caveat. I don't think mass rescind works as great for extend use cases as the mass cancel does. Mass cancel to me is no brainer. Rescind, you really got to be careful with and think about how do you want to use this and how is your data going to be impacted. Okay, so now let's just say that we do want to rescind it, but we need to know all it's going to do is it's going to change our status from successfully completed to rescinded. Okay, so now I go into mass operation management. And the type, we see rescind is not part of it. Okay, now we have a security thing we have to do. Again, documented in community on mass operation management, how we do this stuff. But I'm going to jump right to how we do it. We got to create a segment security group. Segment-based security group, and we're going to call this Wake Up with Workday Mass Rescind. Access the segments of rescind business process. This is a segment within the mass operation management. So this is a delivered segment that is in your tenant ahead of time. And we're going to say implementers, and we'll say HR administrators. Okay. So we created our security group. Still not done yet, though. If we refresh this page, we still don't have mass operation management. A couple more steps we have to do. Let's go take a look at the domain for mass operation management. And let's look at the security policies. Okay. So these are the ones that are out there. And we just created a Wake Up with Workday rescind, mass rescind. So we put it onto our mass operation management. The people who have access to this security group will only get rescind, right? It doesn't give them access to all the actions. They individually have to get it through the different security groups. So we say okay to that, and we got to activate our security groups. The common mistake I'm sure we have all made. Security policy changes. Okay. Okay, we'll come back here. Let's refresh. Rescind's now available. Now we have the ability to do some rescinds. I'll Wake Up with Workday, right? That's mass cancel. So let's change this report around because it's no longer mass cancel, right? Okay, so now it's going to be mass rescind. And our filter has to change. So instead of being cancelable, we have a field for rescindable. And we're not doing our mistake we made last time. We're going to say equal to, and we're going to say equal to yes. Okay, again, this is just alert saying we're not using an index. It might be slow. And we're going to run the mass. Let's actually make sure that this is refreshed with the new name on it. I'm sure it'd have been fine. Huh. Interesting. Let's just do a refresh. And let's take a quick look at what, let's make sure the report's good before we do it. One event, it's not really mass rescind, a massive one. So let's say okay to this, and let's see if it tells us it's expecting one. It says one. I'm going to do something here. Just I want to open this guy up so we can see the status changes on it. Okay, we see it says successfully completed. And let's do a quick review. Let's say continue, and let's do this. Okay. Now I'm expecting this successfully completed to go into rescinded, rescinded. Okay, again, just really changes the overall status. So that's the caveat. Like these people still have their payroll inputs on there. You still have to make sure that you have accounted for removing that. If you're truly wanting to rescind something that's completed, you have to think about where that data went and what it impacted for the rescind to be successful for you. So,
So like
so
when
that's my little spiel,
you're
Tony.
no,
Yep.
that's great. Honestly, your point to it doesn't necessarily affect, if you did data operations during the process. If you like what good processes would you kind of recommend in that regard to like safeguard being able to rescind these in an easier way? Like again, if you did some sort of like push operation or delete data in those, like maybe it's a good idea to pull that data out and archive it before like having that
Yeah,
that rollback back opportunity when you do want to possibly do this in the future.
I mean, I think it goes back to your overall design. If you want the ability to resend, you need to plan how is that going to work? And yeah, you might need to archive data. You might need, in this case here, to save the payroll input WIDs. So that way you can remove the WID, store that in a model object. So that way, if you do a resend on it, you can go delete it. But then again, what if it's paid? If it's paid, there's nothing you can do, right? Money's out the door. So, but I mean, that's not that different than any business process, right? If you did a one-time payment
Yeah.
and then you rescind it after it's paid, well, it's been paid. So it's got to go into your overall design. I typically don't roll out business processes with rescind enabled. I typically want, once it's completed, that's the end of the business process for me. And then if I need to roll things back, then that's targeted and surgical based off what happened, what we're trying to undo.
Yeah. Always seems to go back to design. Like
It does.
plan
It does.
first before doing things.
It
Yeah, this is
does.
great, Todd. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Awesome. So I think that'll probably wrap us up for the day, unless you have any final thoughts, Todd.
No, I think that's it. Final thought, I guess, would be we're doing a deep dive next Tuesday, and that would be on March 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern, so 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us.
Yeah, and we'll drop the link for that in the description of this one. Also, before I forget, the early bird pricing for DevCon is only about a week or so left. So by April 1st, that will go up to the normal full price ticket. So if you haven't gotten your DevCon ticket yet, now is the time. And don't forget the hackathon as well. Lots of good stuff. It will be a blast as always. So thank you guys for joining us.